And that was like 20 years ago.
Yeah, Cap trying to draw them in there into a fist fight on stage, but not quite working out. Both of them really mannered. I think they respect each other quite a lot. Like Trixie said, coming into this tournament, you think, okay, we've got a strong team, we're strong players. But playing up against a lot of these teams, you've got no idea where they come from, what their skill level is, what strats they're prepared for you.
Yeah, you can't get the, against some teams, like, oh, I got to bend out the Brewmaster against these guys. I got to take out, like, specific heroes up against them. But, yeah, some of these guys don't actually have any, like, history you can easily access online as far as tournaments go. They might have played in a whole bunch of open qualifiers or tournaments in regional areas, but a lot of that kind of stuff doesn't actually have an easy database that you can just access. So because of that, you come in a little bit blind, and then people like Trixie, who is probably the most famous person up on that stage right now, like, we all know what he does, and I don't think he needs help to die. So we'll see how Trixie's going to go. We're also going to get the guys inside the game and start it up, so when they are ready to go, they will join into the game, and we'll start this best of 3. We're doing 3 best of 3s today. We've already had our China versus Korea game today, and now we will have our Finnish boys going up against Rays, and we'll see who comes out on top of that one. Then we have one last best of 3 of the day. We already have all the quarterfinals up on the stage, primarily because we just don't have time for that one. But we'll do the 2 semifinals tomorrow, and the 3rd place matchup will also be coming up then. So I think we should be ready to go. If Trixie can get himself out of his practice game, we'll be able to start our game and get ourselves underway. So what do you expect from this match, Durka? What do you expect?
We saw Rays the other night, and they did decently. I think their drafting has a little bit of work that needs to go into it, but like the guy said up on stage, Link, they've looked into Trixie, they've looked into their team, they know what they're up against, so maybe they've got something prepared to go up against these guys. I mean, you know Trixie's going to be playing off lane, and you know he loves to dive behind towers to find kills here and there.
Well, I actually asked Trixie about that, and I said, man, like, are you going to play off lane? Like, that's what you're used to playing, and like, you're very aggressive in that kind of role. And he actually said to me, it depends on what heroes they end up drafting. Sometimes they'll feel like, yeah, they should be grabbing like just him for his off-lane heroes, like his signature style heroes. But if he doesn't want to play the hero on the off-lane that's a little bit better, he might switch into a different kind of role.
Okay.
So I wouldn't put it down, like hands down, saying Trixie will 100% be playing off-lane hero. Oh my God, Clockwork's picked up, it will be Trixie. Like, that might happen, it might not. The Finnish team, they also are trying to be a little bit more diverse. They're a team which, sure, they played together with a couple of like random Finns and ended up winning their qualifier, and they come here and they go, okay, well, we don't have great synergy together, but we've still got a couple of combos. Like Jirax and Trixie also go back a fairly long way. So I don't see much of a problem for them to mix things up. And like, they're not going to be the predictable team.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I was looking into a couple of these teams, there were a couple of them where, you know, I had arrows saying their 3 roles switches with their 1 role, and they do that kind of thing. Yeah. With this Finnish team, it's just arrows everywhere. They switch up all the time. I think Jirax and their other support, the only 2 which really stick on support. The other guys can play any role they want to.
Yeah. Well, I'm looking forward to starting this game. If we can just get our final players inside the lobby. I know Jirax is actually our man, which is missing from the Team Finland, primarily because he doesn't have earbuds or something like that. I don't know. They had themselves 30 minutes to set up. They were good to go. We actually waited because Finland was having lunch. It's a very relaxed atmosphere here. There's no pressure at all.
Go have lunch, go watch Hearthstone.
Yes, that's what we did. We popped down. We had Atosis, Tasteless, and Froden are all casting down there.
I was wondering where this angle comes from. They've got it up on a...
Yeah, we're on the boom camera, hidden in that little corner with the wonderful Ministry of Youths and Sport, big banner trying to block us, hide us away from the rest of the world. These weird pale people that have English blood.
Stay away from the sun. They even put the shades down for us. Thankfully.
Yeah, it's I don't know. It's almost like a little bit of mood lighting. I like it. I'm liking it, and I'm hoping I'm going to like it more once we get our game underway. So it's actually now our boys from Tunisia. They're the ones to connect into the game. One last player from there, and we'll start up. Our boys from South Africa. Hi, guys. There you go. There you go.
We know Team Finland like to play aggressively, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Tunisia just buy TP scrolls all the time. Just have the ability to TP onto Tier 1, Tier 2 towers to save their teammates.
See, I'm wondering if that's even necessary here. Because if you want to try and fight Finland directly, sure, you can do that. And judging by the comments at the start, it kind of feels like they're going to draft an aggro tri-lane with creep skipping. Like that would be where my brain is going to go. It's like, well, it's okay. I hope you prepare for a lot of pain right now. It's like, oh, okay, what does that really mean? Like, if you're going to do that, then it's very aggressive Dota you must be playing. This means either diving against the offlane, which is a lot more difficult with the way the pathing has now been changed around on the offlane, especially if you're trying to gank up on the Dire side. So my only other alternative then is force everyone to come up to the safe lane and try and battle there. Or you push down towers very early on. But if you're going to do that, you're running like core Jakiros and giving them space very early on, and you're running a lot of other tower pushes. So I don't know if they really want to go down that line. Okay, it looks like Tunisia is not 100% ready to go yet. They're in the lobby. They're in the lobby. We've moved up in the world. I'm sorry, Link. Link. Sorry. I can't do anything about it, man. And how quickly did everyone else's mind get back to Link?
Link, yeah.
I haven't seen him in a while.
Well, when I first saw that name, I thought, why is Link playing on Tunisia? He's from Denmark. This isn't meant to happen.
Well, it looks like we're good to go now. So, players, the thumbs are up, and we are launching in. As you can see it on their screens. We can get game number 1 of our second quarterfinal underway to see who will advance themselves through. And the winner of this match plays up against... And I throw it to Durka to finish my line.
I'm not sure. I think it's China. This is still the top part of the bracket?
I believe so. Yeah, actually, yes. Yes, it will be China. Yes, because we're working directly from the top to the bottom, and I remember the boys saying as well, it's like, even if we win this game, we still have to face up against China. And then MVP won game number 1, and we're all like, hey, so you're going to have to face up against Korea.
Didn't work out that way.
No, it did not. But the draft's underway, and we will start off Stockholm Standard Man, removing out the Death Prophet, and the Brewmaster still remains 100% for my main stage matches as far as the bans go. And we'll see which supports they value to take out at this point of the game. Does the Yoga slip through? And what else is there really? Skywrath Mage, a couple of other favorites. Other cores, Razor, who was also high in the ban pool. And actually, they're going to take out the Tidehunter this early on.
You very rarely see supports get banned out in the first 1-2. I'm not sure why exactly. Because, like you said, Skywrath and Ogre are very popular right now. Tidehunter, you know, he's pretty good on the offlane. He does offer you a lot of options. After he gets level 6, he can TP in. He can force down towers just by running at people. But the Wisp ban out by Tunisia.
Well, they take out the combo here for Team Finland. And Team Finland just start with the Skywrath Mage. So, revealing nothing with their first pickup, they actually prioritize that over the Ogre Magi, which for me is something a little bit more surprising. Kind of like flag something that they want to try and keep a little bit more lane presence. And then, yeah, Tunisia, they're able to pick up Ogre Magi as well as Viper, and no delay whatsoever in picking up the Centaur. Very quick pick phase.
Yeah, that Stampede is excellent against heroes like Viper and Ogre, because you can't really make up the distance. You throw out your spells, you throw out the Viper Strike, your Ignite, and then you just Stampede and run away.
How are you meant to fight up against this then? Like Tunisia, do we get like a different level of control here? Do we look into something more like a Puck going towards the middle lane? The Witch Doctor Paralyzing Cask might be a nice option, but even then the Centaur Split allows you to separate before it can actually bounce again into another hero.
I think Puck is a good shout. It's really good against that Centaur, decent against the Skywrath Mage, because you can dodge a lot of his spells unless you're silenced. But whether it couples up with Viper and Ogre, I'm not so sure. It depends on their last couple of picks, and I think if they do go for Puck, it'll be their 5th and final. Yeah,
and it kind of also would have to then be like, what, your off lane then? Because like your Viper would want to play in towards that mid lane depending who he's up against.
You could run Viper safe lane. We've seen it a couple of times. Mainly from Pycat though. You know, he goes for the Midas and into hard carry Viper.
Yeah. No. And this game actually I probably want to flag Rubik a little bit higher for Team Finland. Mainly because he's just such a great steal up. Like, you can steal anything from Centaur and Skywrath Mage, and you're always going to be picking up that Stampede. Works nicely with the Ogre Magi as far as like heavy lane control. And if Tunisia are really adamant about getting a pick off on the lane, then yeah, you can easily just pick up the Rubik and run an aggro trial lane, or it doesn't even need to be an aggro trial lane. It could be anything you want it to be. Cap, working out the insights of all Korea.
No, he said he had a couple of questions for MVP. He'd made all these questions up with like that Dota stats to back him up, and then didn't get the chance to for the post game. So he's gone over and started asking them anyway. He needs to get them out of his head.
I need to know. I need to know. What's the secret of Korea? If you asked a year ago, it'd be 5-man mid. That was the only secret.
All mid.
Wasn't much of a secret. it's literally what happened. It's amazing, actually, when you see how far Korean Dota has come. Because they went, in a year ago, it was 3 minutes in, 5-man mid, and they just tried to push. That's all it was. I'm not kidding on that one. It's literally the meta. Yeah, that lasted for about maybe 2 weeks, and then they realized, wait, we could be so much more efficient elsewhere. All right. For now, the Earthshaker was the final ban out by Tunisia. And the Clockwork pickup will actually be there, which, Well,
it works well against what I was saying about the Centaur Stampede. He likes to get his teammates out of trouble. But if you go in first with a Viper Strike and then have the Clockwork as the secondary initiation to get that hook shot on someone who's trying to escape, it's great. Yeah. Or you can have it the other way. Clockwork goes in and uses cogs, and then Stampede is completely useless.
The downside is you could just end up completely losing your lane. Skywrath and Centaur, if you just get that Hoof Stomp, then your Clockwork's going to burst, or your Ogre Magi is just going to burst on them. And both being sealed up, Clockwork hook shots in, that seal could be very quick from Skywrath Mage. You'd never get your cogs off, you never get your battery assault off. So I would be a little bit concerned about Tunisia. I'm actually almost thinking now Finland should be picking up somebody to go up against the Clockwork. The Rubik for me is always one of the greatest pickups up against Clock, because it's the best way, just getting Clock out of the cogs and saving your own teammate. But at the same time, you could try and go for things like Shadow Demon, other controllers. I don't know if you would really want to go. Yeah, you've got VS still in the pool, which works with the Skywrath Mage as well. So they're both options which would be high up on my list for Team Finland to pick up as their second support. And they should be picking their second support up now, because they already know 2 of the cores, so they can line their supports up correctly for this. So unless they're going for a certain combination style, if they're looking for, do I dare say it again, the Bane Mirana combo, okay, that adds a little bit more mystery to it. Because that could be a core Wraith King, it could be a support Wraith King. And he's actually perfect up against this lineup, because burst damaging him down, he'll just reincarnate back up again, and you kind of win. As you'll soak up every bit of initiation that they've got, you'll take up the stuns from Ogre Magi, you'll take up all the damage from Viper, and you're quite good.
That's exactly right. We've talked about Ogre being good against core heroes and being able to burst them down and almost solo them when he hits level 6, and then level 11 with a lucky multicast. But Wraith King will come straight back to life. I do worry about his capabilities up against a Viper, though, because he gets kited really easily. So he needs to get a Blink Dagger early and get into the midst of the fight as quickly as possible, and hopefully not get kited around by Cogs and Viper Strike.
But that's also the reason why you have like Centaur ulti. You've got better maneuverability from that, so Wraith King can be a lot more effective early on, to a point where he may not have to build in to that Blink Dagger. Maybe he should now, there's a Lich on the field. It's just so easy to catch him out.
And Lich Ice Armor is really good against Wraith King as well. Like, that's such an underestimated skill, but if you start leveling that up, that Wraith King doesn't hit very quickly at all.
I'm still worried, though, that there's just still no easy follow-through after. Like, sure, you throw out your Lich ulti, you got hook shots, you got cog power, all that kind of jazz. The Viper is your only consistent source of damage, and as we've seen already today, it takes a while before Viper really gets into that point of being effective.
And it never seems quite enough. You always need that secondary core who gives that extra bit of oomph in your team fights. But Team Finland pick up the puck rather than Team Tunisia. That's a pretty decent mid up against what they're going.
Yeah, and that's also a fantastic hero up against heroes like Ogre and Lich. If you can get that Blink Dagger onto the puck now, then you can jump in very quickly. And you got ways of getting away from the Clockwork with your phase shift and ways to dodge the Viper ulti. It's all these things being put together, which just make for a really nice and very dynamic combination coming out from Team Finland. They just need physical DPS now, unless that Wraith King is the core.
I think Necro is a really worthy ban there. We've seen Team Finland run it before, but the fact that Wraith King could be a support and Necro would absolutely demolish Viper and Ogre. Also the fact that they pick up Morphling.
I get another hero which requires a large amount of farm before he really becomes effective in DPS. And a hero who also can get massively caught out by Team Finland. Because you got double silencers and then a follow-up Hoof Stomp and Hellfire Blast. There's a lot of control that can come into that Morphling. And if you seal him up before he's capable of morphing, like Agility Morph or Strength Morph, then you could catch him on the very, very low life points and he won't be able to do anything about it.
Like, you don't need to focus your 5th pick on that Morphling. You can take a hero that wraps up your lineup. You're not worried about zoning that guy out.
Yeah, all your control factors are basically done. The only thing which you'd like to have is a little bit more of just like range DPS that can battle against the Viper. I think that he's the only hero right now which Team Finland don't have something perfect against, unless it's consistent rotations to make sure Viper doesn't get early farm. Like, that's the only other way around this one. And that kind of has to happen anyway, because like, if this is a Lich Morphling in mid, then mid's actually going to get really screwed up. I actually kind of want to see Finland. I don't know if Murano would be the best pick up here. Oh my God.
What's wrong, Toby? Don't you like Medusa?
I love Medusa. Medusa's a wonderful woman. Like, she
turns people to stone. She splits her love between multiple targets.
Just hatred for Team Finland right now. Medusa is a solid hero pickup. That's your tank on the front lines. I was already saying it, like with a Wraith King and a Centaur, it's already hard enough to get a kill on these guys. Especially when like you blow all your abilities at the start, you try and get a kill, then you got Reincarnation, you get large amounts of life from Centaur, the ability just to easily escape, and then you add a Medusa into that with early farm, almost uncontested farm. You get a Lincoln Sphere, there's very few things that actually can get through that, and she just survives everything.
Also the fact that you can jump in with a puck, Dream Core, silence, nuke them down with your orb, so that takes them down to half HP on the supports, maybe 3/4 on the carries.
Throw in that snake to the mix.
Throw in the snake, then you stampede the Medusa into the middle of them or behind them where they're trying to retreat with the Stone Gaze.
That's just disgusting.
Yeah, and then you've got the Wraith King who can build up into a carry with physical DPS. So you've got really nice synergy between all of these spells. You've got the initial burst from the Centaur and Puck plus Skywrath Mage, hold them in place, do magic damage, and then the Medusa with the Stone Gaze and the Wraith King with the right clicks.
The only issue I have with the lineup now from Finland is the fact that Centaur doesn't really have a plan B. Like, he can't just go into his own jungle and try and start farming up there.
No, but we see from Team Finland, they're not afraid to send the supports down onto the offlane to help Trixie out. They will leave this Medusa up here on her own.
Yeah, that's fine. And actually, there would then be the option for the Centaur. I'm not going to say it's the greatest thing in the world, but you would actually have Vampiric Offering. So if he really does need some help, the Wraith King as well as the Centaur can just tag team stacking, tag team tanking. And then they can go. But yeah, it's, for me, Finland, they could just sit back for the first 10, 15 minutes of this game, have no kills, and still be very happy with their position. The only thing which they have to be a little bit more cautious about is this Puck. Like, I think he's the most exposed lane that Finland has. And if it is going to be a Lich Morphling in mid lane, which we would assume it will be, judging by both builds as well as positioning of the heroes in the map currently, then the Puck is going to be a little underleveled, and his harassment isn't really as great. It's not like a Templar Assassin where you can just like, refraction, your harassment does nothing to me. And then you've got large amounts of damage so you can still farm, and you got Side Blades, which allows you to then harass. Like, that's what made TA work in that middle lane. And Puck, that you got an ability to evade, which is your phase shift, but then you only have orb, which means you've only got 1 point when you can attack properly. But that can also just be dodged up easily by this Morphling, and if he gets an early bottle, then even more trouble for you.
And you can't farm with the orb, you need that to escape, because if you use that to farm, the Morphling's just going to waveform onto you, Frost Blast from the Lich, and then you are dead.
Nice to the rune which Shirak's able to pick up, so he'll end up taking out that Invis rune. We'll have Ogre Magi, who will take out the bounty rune. And Flash comes up towards the top lane. He's just taking one of the creeps out, so they can try and keep this creep wave back. We've already lost the top creep wave, the range creep is out. And Jirax is just hovering around this middle lane. They want to at least chip away at Link early on. Wish they could do so. There's no rift. In fact, he leveled up the orb, but never threw it. So the damage didn't come in. He'll get a shared tango at the moment. But this is the right thing to do in a way. You drop the Morphling down and you just try and contest the farm in the middle lane, or at least the security of the farm for the Morphling. Don't let him get a good start. The only downside is, though, now you've got Sacrifice that's taking away some of the experience in the mid, and then you're also splitting it between Jirax as well as Hoppus.
Yeah, and this Puck went null first to try and get those extra last hits and maybe some harass onto the Lich. So his bottle's going to be delayed.
Yeah. It's the same situation for the Morphling, though. And you've got the Puck who's actually ahead of the Morphling right now as far as CS. Obviously, the creep wave balance, it's pretty level. But it's a 1-1 up against a 4-1 at the moment. And that's with the Lich using Sacrifice, who, in fact, is being nice and over-aggressive on this puck. I think he was just looking to, like, he had to keep that orb in check. As looks like Flash need another moment right now. They're not comfortable on the left side of the stage right now.
I wonder if this Ogre goes for an Orb of Venom. Because he's saving up a bit of gold. He doesn't need boots necessarily up against Trixie, who is really low on gold, went for the Stout Shield. You've got Ignite level 1 plus the Viper with the Poison Strike. So you could slow Trixie down to the point where he cannot run from you.
You could. The downside about this is by the time Trixie's going to put himself in a position that he could get caught out by that. I know the slow can help, but you have to basically be at point-blank range. And then support can just rotate itself in. And that's when problems can start to arise. Because Trixie, I'm surprised actually, well, no, I'm not surprised he's being this forward in his positioning. But normally you kind of expect that kind of move to work when he's about here on the bottom lane, and then something could happen. In the meantime, he's just like, well, Ignite, don't really care. He's got a 1-1-1 build across the board. Yeah. So his harassment of Blood's quite good. Now the stun. You got the poison attack, Trixie. Hoof Stomp will slow down the Ogre Magi. He's out of mana, so he can't throw anything else out, but the slow will be out of work. It's already on the auto cast. Trixie, he'll need one more attack into him. He's not going to tick down. The salve actually bring his life points up. In the meantime, really, First Blood up on the top lane. It's going to go the way of the Clockwork as the Wraith King going down, and my run has ended. But then again, so is the Clockworks. He's locked inside the cogs. And is there enough damage from the Medusa into the tree lines? He's salving up, but Jirax is right on top of him. He's actually trying to delay his attack so the Skywrath, so the Medusa can take the kill. But Jirax in the end will just make sure he does go down. So it's a 1-1 trade-off at the end of the day.
Yeah, it must have been a really nice play there for the Clockwork, finding the Wraith King. Obviously, Clock does have those boots, managed to catch up to the slow old Wraith King, get him inside the cogs with that level 2 battery assault. And the damage difference between level 1 and 2 is absolutely massive.
Sorry, I'm still feeling it when I missed First Blood.
Oh.
Thank you. That's a sympathy. I can move on now. All right. So Clockwork, level 4 now. And he will finally get that 1 point up in Rocket. So he's capable of farming up. But you see Skywrath and Wraith King back up to this top lane. Someone get Wraith King like a second level. Hellfire Blast is not enough. Jirax. He needs to push this Clockwork back harder.
He needs to bring a clarity to himself because he's got almost no mana.
Well, you got one over on the Wraith King, so he could technically just give it over. And Clockwork again. I think he's trying to burn off the mana of the Wraith King, which isn't actually as effective as you'd think. Especially when the Wraith King went the extra point up in stats. And that's where actually it's not an unspent point.
He'd love to go in and find this Medusa though, sitting on about a third of HP with very little regen.
Puck controlling that orb up on top lane, picking up the illusion rune. I don't think Clockwork can actually do that on top lane. Like, if he had level 6, then maybe. But you've still got the Medusa sitting very close in range of that tier 1 tower. They really need that courier to fly. With 4 minutes 20 seconds in, and now, yeah, we go. There you go. Courier comes up. They need the movement speed on it. That's a minute and a half that you've been bottle running the puck in the mid, and he hasn't had a flying courier. I'm guessing the supports would... No, the supports aren't even being like that cheap. You got 550 gold over on that Wraith King at the moment.
And then a null after boots first on the Skyra.
Yeah. Maybe it's just something that slipped under the radar. Right now, Wraith King's probably going to wish he had some boots. That Clockwork so easily... Like, he can easily outrun the Wraith King. And if he would have bought boots if we was going to go for that. So he must be planning something else. And, okay, what does he do? No, he just picks up boots in the TP scroll. But on bottom lane, oh, there's your move right now. They'll need to actually get that Hellfire Blast off and then move a body block so that when the cogs wear out, like, he can't do that. Blood's able to TP himself in and brings the support towards the lane. And the Clockwork will be able to survive. So a little bit of harassment. He should have seen that coming too. The Observer ward's up. So he saw the Skywrath Mage moving over. But I think the idea right now from Team Finland was to TP down towards that bottom lane and try and go for a gank. And you can see it from the positioning of Trixie. He's just sitting there in the tree line, hoping he can just walk himself up, get his level 6, and then get Hoof Stomp into Hellfire Blast, into nice Concussive and Harassment Orb. It was meant to be a smoke TP down, I'm fairly certain. They'll just have to smoke and walk it the old-fashioned way.
Yeah, he cut through to buy his boots. He just managed to afford them. But can he find an opening on the Viper? He's not level 6 yet. Neither of them are.
Kind of hilarious to also see the Radiant stacking up Ancients, because they don't have clearance for this. How are you even meant to clear that Ancient stack? I don't think they can even farm Ancients right now because they stacked it too much. There's your bottom lane movement. There's no level 6 on the Centaur. Hellfire Blast must connect here, and it will do so, which means Hoofstomp follow-up, and the double edge will ensure the last hit there from Centaur. So Trixie gets the kill, and that will also be enough money to buy up his full Tranquil boots. 6 minutes in, Finland go 2-1. Yeah, but what's the point of this Ancient stack?
I don't know. I took a look at the jungle to see if they've been stacked. They have a couple of times, and I'd expect that. So the Morphling can go in, waveform, hit them, waveform again, and clear them. But the Ancients, I'm not too sure. Yeah,
because they have nothing which clears Ancients. The triple stack which Finland have managed to get up inside their own jungle, this one right here, that's actually quite easily farmed. Because you could just use like Puck, Orb as well as Rift if you want to. You've got the ability for like double edge spill damage.
Or Medusa just goes in there with Split Shot and Snake.
Oh, there's that as well. there's just too many easy ways for Finland to take out these stacks which Tunisia have set up. Like if it was just like one set of Ancients, then they could actually farm with just one hero too. So I think they've actually literally crippled their economy by doing such a thing.
If they could possibly get Viper in there, use Clockwork Cogs to try and block this area off and have Viper stand there and hit it. But even then, the efficiency of that is so low with the damage coming out of the Viper.
Trixie's about to run in towards the middle lane. Puck, he's got Dream Call available, Lich coming in, and he actually went for the Frost Blast, which was dodged. The Frost Blast actually ended up being cast on that range creep, and Trixie, he's actually come all the way down. Is he No, he won't be able to reach that. He doesn't have vision of the courier moving, but he did notice that the triple stack was there in the Radiant jungle. So he'll flag that one out and maybe just try and catch out a hero when he comes for another stack. It's 8 minutes, and Flash is actually just coming up for the rune, which is a haste rune for the Puck. Now, that's a kill rune right there. If he wants to, he just takes out the Lich. He didn't actually get away from the Frost Blast, but then Dream Call, Orb, he'll jaunt down. He still needs one more attack to go in there. Flash has to remain here. He loops around, but now Clockwork comes up. He's got Hookshot available. Phase Shift is still there from Hopus, and Flash will deny himself off the neutral creeps, but in comes Trixie. Double Hoofstomp. He was trying to go for Link as well. Just double edge to kill off the Clockwork, while Link running up towards the higher ground, strength morphing up, but he's out of mana, so he's capped up now at 1,000 life points, and Trixie is right behind him, but they will not want to dive underneath the tier 1 tower.
I'm not sure how Puck managed to miss that kill on the Lich, though. He didn't bottle up initially. He was sitting on half HP, half mana, and 3 bottle charges after he popped the haste.
Well, he could have just stood there for a second longer before he jaunted, because he jaunted directly into the heroes, as opposed to just, like, attacking another time, then jumping over.
Yeah. But we see on the bot lane, the Viper picks up an 8.5-minute mech.
Well, that's not too shabby for a Viper. Well, he still then needs to be involved in the fights. Sure, it means that that Team Finland would have a little bit more of a harder time ganking him up, but with what they've got, it shouldn't be too difficult. Especially now that Medusa is starting to do the flash farming. So she's taking out the stacks. And this is when you're going to start to see her farm as well as items skyrocket, already with the Ring of Health. So the rest of it just goes into picking up that Perseverance.
Oh, I'm worried now. It looks like Tunisia want to try and fight 4v5 later on in the game, maybe in 5 or 6 minutes' time, because Link is going towards a Midas. So if he gets the Midas, it's going to take him even longer to get his next big item. And then the rest of his team with the Viper are going to have to try and fight. Clockwork Hookshot in, Viper Strike, and then the Lich ulti possibly. But then you're fighting the Centaur, Puck, Medusa, Wraith King, and these guys are not afraid to TP to help out their teammates.
Really not a fan of that at all. He's got no space to use it. He thinks he can use the Midas on this camp. Like Trixie, after death, comes straight back and goes, after killing, he comes straight back and makes sure they cannot take that out. Now, Hopus, he's visible right now. He's going to Orb, Phase Shift, got hit by the Frost Blast, but that doesn't actually stop him from getting himself away.
Clockwork cancelling the animation of Hookshot there. He wanted to go for it, but he knew he was going to jump across the river.
Yeah. It would have really just been a little bit more pointless throwing away his life. He doesn't know what he's up against over there. Trixie, now you can go for that hook shot, hits him in. It will be the hoof stop though, which means he can't get the cogs off in time. Double edge, he's holding onto it. Center Ollie will go, the stun will fly out. Clockwork, he might even just burn off until the Dream Call being used to control 3 heroes. They're out of mana on the Viper. which means you can't keep spamming out the damage, but ends up just being offlaner for an offlaner. Clockwork for the Centaur is the trade-off. Who's worth more? Would you believe it? Clockwork.
Oh yeah, definitely. But not only that, Medusa is getting to stack and farm the camps which have been stacked for him. So he's getting all of this golden experience. Jirax is getting up to level 6 on top lane. So it all works out better for Team Finland.
I don't know if Trixie wants to. I think Trixie wants this camp. Does Fraggy even set it up for him so he can get that Blink Dagger? He's just like, no man. It all goes towards the Skadi fund. And in fact, he'll do exactly that. He just farms up the entire thing. And they need to get Trixie this Blink Dagger. They really do. And because they need to get him, not only the Blink Dagger, they need to get him into the Force Staff directly after. Because until he has that, he doesn't have an ability to get away from the Clockwork. And now, okay, he preps the camp for the Medusa. And they're really just feeding her as much as they can, because they know that Tunisia can't kill her.
Now this camp's his.
And then Clockwork, oh, the rocket flew over. If he actually threw that rocket onto the camp, I don't know, hang on, what level is it? It's level 2. It wouldn't have been enough to steal. It wouldn't have been enough. It would have been close.
Might have been enough to kill Trixie, though. He's sitting on about 90 HP, and that rocket does 120 damage.
Yeah, but Trixie turned back into it after the rocket flew over him. So then he took the extra damage before the rocket would have arrived. He could have just thrown another one and maybe picked Trixie up on the way back, but the Tranquil Booster had already kicked in. So the regeneration was already high enough for him. But it would have been a nice, hilarious kill if it did connect.
Random rocket kills Trixie.
If they said to prepare Trixie for pain. Now, this is very, very passive at the moment. Soul Ring's still not completed on this Ogre. He's looking at the Wraith King, but Wraith King's already leveled up his ultimate. So if they initiate here and they spam their abilities out for him, all they're going to end up doing is breaking through his reincarnation, which actually isn't really a bad thing. Mainly because at level 1, it's such a long cooldown. But the downside is it will allow the rest of Team Finland to get themselves in position to attack.
Yeah, they'll rally up, realize that the enemy's out of mana completely, because Ogre has such high mana cost abilities. Viper spends so much spamming out poison attack. And what kind of reaction can Tunisia actually pull? If they TP the Morphling in, that's time farming that he's wasted. Clockwork is probably the main guy who needs to TP onto tier 1s to save his teammates. But he's so busy trying to stop Medusa from getting free farm up here.
Yeah, but he can't really do much about that. Not when she keeps moving into the jungle, and then when she backs up, the Skywrath Mage takes the levels and hits level 6. So that's not really working for him, especially when Viper, that's the one they want. The smoke will break over on the Wraith King. The orb down, he has to Dream Call here. This is the only way they're going to get that kill, but already the Ogre as well as the Viper was able to get themselves back at range of the tier 1 tower. And they should have also flagged too. You got a casual cloak over on the Viper with the mech, with the Ring of Aquila and the treads. Getting a kill on this Viper, I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it would require a very heavy investment there from Team Finland.
Yeah, and Lich TP'd mid, TP'd bot from mid, and he's level 6. So that Chain Frost is ready to go.
Yeah.
Finland like to converge on one target with
Trixie. He's going to find Flash. Does not want to stampede for this. He might be forced to, though, just to get himself out of range of that Ogre which was coming in behind him. He's also flagging the DD rune on the bottom river. More important not to give that over to anybody. While up on top, you got Hopeless as well as Jirax. They're rotating for more. And this is a good place to gank up. And Clockwork, yeah, he knows about it because there's 2 Observer Wards watching that movement across top.
This Medusa is getting so much gold up here. Only 1,000 away from that Lincoln's Puck. Perfectly timed Blink Dagger pick up there. Going to give that Medusa just a little bit more time. They can fight 4v5 up into this while Morphling still stuck on the Midas. And I think he needs to go BKB straight after Midas, which isn't a situation you want to be in as Morphling. You want to stack up your agility, trying to get as much damage as possible, maybe E-Blade. But
that's bottom lane. Wraith King. He's a little bit too far away. Now he isn't. Comes in, denying the tower. Lichot is going to bounce around. Remember, it's only the reincarnation. Is the creep wave is even going to bounce back to him? It refuses to do it. Vipe will be slowed up. There was movement coming in from the Puck, but the Blink Dagger never arrived from the Courier yet. So he's not ready to actually jump himself in and try and battle up against the Radiant push on the bot lane.
Well, you've got no Trixie for the next fight. He's going all the way back to Fountain to regen up, and Fraggy is having a great old time in the jungle, transitioning from lane to jungle seamlessly.
Like I said, a really nice movement from that replicate of Link. So he was able to scout out the fact that Puck had moved down there. No way to surprise him at all. Morphling Midas kicks in perfectly, so they gave him the space. It really feels like Finland gave him the space, and they knew they were going to because of the amount they're going to farm. But at the same time, this could really bite him in the ass pretty badly.
It feels okay giving him the space and allowing Medusa to farm, though, because what does Morphling bring to the team fight? He brings waveform and right-click damage.
He could bring burst damage as well if he can get anywhere near that E-Blade.
But who do you focus, the Skywrath or the puck?
Well, it's got to be the Skywrath. You can't focus the puck. Because unless you have a silence, which you don't. Like, if you had a silence, then yes, you could focus the puck. But really, the only way they're going to kill the puck is continuous damage or a multicast Fire Blast from Ogamajai. Which then wouldn't surprise me if puck then goes a more defensive item as his next item. Like picks up, I don't want to say Lincoln Sphere, but yeah, Yule Scepter is a better item. Because that'll buy him the space to be a little bit more maneuverable. Clockwork's up a long way on this top lane. He keeps taking harassment from this Mystic Snake, pushing him back. As a non-tranquil boots Clockwork, he's trying to build into a 4-staff directly instead.
17-minute Lincoln's out of phase boots Ring Rackler on the Medusa. And what do you reckon next? You can go for the Manta style to increase your farming speed, movement speed, and damage output. Helps you push down towers a lot quicker as well. Or you can go straight into Scardian. I guess it depends in the next 4 to 5 minutes how much gold he gets.
I would prefer to see him get a casual Yasha and then go Scardi.
Okay.
Primary reason I'm saying that is just because like high movement speed, you keep your farm coming. Tunisia are giving you space right now. They're not moving with the Clockwork trying to find kills, so you're a lot freer to do what you want. And the Yasha will just let you farm just that little bit more efficiently. Which you kind of need to when you're trying to build into like double ultimate orbs later on. At the same time, so would Mana Style. So yeah, both could work. I would just prefer to see the early Yasha. So he's got something if Tunisia does try and fight a little earlier.
Yeah, I think Manta Star's good. Dodging Viper Strike, also creating more targets for the Lich Ultimate to bounce onto.
This Viper is a long way away from his team. You might want to join him soon. We've got a tier 1 tower on the top lane, which is itching to go down. While Hopus continues the stack. That'll be actually a quad stack for the Dire side. While up on top lane, they're moving up a long way. The Wraith King does not have ultimate. He'll turn, get the Sonic Clockwork with the Mystic Flare. They're going to bring him down. The Mystic Snake will actually bounce around, but the Lich Ulti also coming up. Hopus looking for an opening. The Lich Ulti does not bounce to a new target, and that's an invis puck. He can get a double Dream Core right now. There's their Sentry Wars, there's no detection, but there's also no follow-up. The Wraith King is backed up to the tier 1 tower. He's staying close, but there's no reason to fight. They killed the Clockwork. Why force anything? In fact, they even bring the Medusa towards the middle lane to deny that tier 1 tower and farm more. Because she should move down to the quad stack of Ancients.
Pretty sure that was Trixie's call. Like, I'm farming freely down here. You got 1 kill. There's no reason to overextend. You might be able to kill the Viper again, but the amount of spells that you're going to be expending there just to take that 1 guy is not worth it.
Yeah. So the better choice is just to pull back. At the same time, we've now got a rocket which came from base of the Clockwork. Oh, hello, mid lane. Puck's able to get away. There's your hook shot. That's what I was waiting for on Trixie. Hoof Stomp, he doesn't want a double edge because he won't have enough life points to survive this. There's no TP support coming in, and now he's considering just the runaway. Into the tree line. The Observe Ward's up on top of the cliff though, so he can see everything. And it's a level 3 rocket. But you've got the Wraith King coming in. Blink, Hoof Stomp. No!
Oh no.
No, look at even the grin. Trixie is so grinning right there. Like, that's Trixie's face right there. That one right there. That's Trixie's face.
Top lane though, Medusa using Stone Gaze. It doesn't actually stop anyone and turn them to stone. Now the Viper turns it back on him.
Skywrath Mage though has that Mystic Flare, and that's going to cause a lot of damage to the Viper. Another Mystic Snake going to bounce around. So good damage already. He's not going for the split shot. He just wants to focus directly in towards the Viper. Mystic Snake in 3 seconds time, and that'll hold him there. The Lich won't want to stick around for this. He doesn't have ultimate, and Viper sitting on the edge of the puck ultimate. But eventually Medusa will get the last hit in there. And
do they know Ogre is still there?
He's got no mana until the Soul Ring comes off cooldown, so he can't TP himself away to safety. But you've just given a kill to a Medusa who has 165 CS in 20 minutes and has cracked the 10k mark. Are they looking to...
Oh,
no. You are not going to get away with that.
That's a thing.
It's a blink dagger.
Yeah, that... You know what I was saying where you stampede and run the Medusa to the back line of the enemy so they get stone gazed?
Yeah.
Do the same thing with Blink.
That's true, but you already have Stampede. So why would you need the blink as well?
Just use Stampede to run away. force Tunisia to chase, which they want to do with Clockwork, Viper, and Morphling. Get them into a position where you can re-engage with Wraith King Centaur, get a 3-man stomp, and then have Medusa Stone Gaze in the middle of them. I think this is about counter initiation, but it also works the same way you build Blink on Drow Sniper. You are still
Centaur ulti is in the middle lane. That's what they're trying to go for as the ledge. Simple pick off. The blink was there. And they just wanted the kill so then they could add pressure towards that tier 1 tower. Now, Phase Shift will have missed the first attack, and Hopeless could be in a little bit of trouble. Trixie's still standing by with Blink Hoof Stomp, but he'd only make space by doing such a thing. There is no kill potential from him.
So there is nowhere on the map that this Medusa cannot farm right now. It works in the same way Drow and Sniper build Blink. You can always blink away.
Yeah. It's a little bit more important for those two heroes because they're all about kiting from range.
Also, they're not as tanky as Medusa, but she's not unkillable.
But when you get a Lincoln Sphere already and 832 mana pool, that's pretty difficult to kill. And the support heroes which you have with Team Finland just give you even more survivability and space to play, which makes Medusa a very happy lady. She's already level 15 and 3/4. I don't know if they can stop her from farming. Like how are they even meant to stop her? She's going at 500 gold per minute at the moment. This is too much. And now middle lane, going to actually jaunt him, but there is no Lincoln Sphere, no Dream Call. Primarily because Morphling has a replicate, so there's not much point.
Is it time for these ancients to be eaten, Medusa?
Finally. It's taken some sweet-ass time, but she does come over. With the 4 points up in split shot, it really doesn't take long at all. And like Tunisia are very aware of what's going on. That observer ward in the bottom lane is really working overtime for them. And you actually now see Medusa going into the Asha. Hellfire Blast. Trixie can just blink. Hoof Stomp. Gonna hold the double edge? No, he lets it go. And the orb from the puck will ensure the last hit. And Medusa just instantly moves also in towards that middle lane. Not only can you take out the Ancients, actually hasn't finished the job yet, but there's farm to be had in middle lane. So maneuverability, even jumping between the lanes, is very, very efficient for the Medusa.
Now, as Puck here, do you still think you need to go to the defensive Yules, or do you go for Hex?
Actually, I would look at it as an aggressive Yules.
Okay.
Because you want to take the Clockwork out if he jumps in. He probably will actually go Hex, though. Because it's the way to get past the Morphling who didn't build a Lincoln Sphere. Yeah. Now, they jump in over on the Viper. Dream Coil. Okay. They commit every blast they've got. And then the Centaur ulti as well, so they can reposition down. Hoof-Stomp from Trixie, trying to go for a blind stun over the Clockwork while Wraith King TPs himself out. There was no Fire Blast available. And Team Finland will escape away. Well, the puck will get nibbled a little bit. As Medusa goes back to... This is another reason why I just absolutely adore Medusa. Back to farming. Back to farming. We have a 5-11 game, and Medusa's been involved in, count them, 2 of the kills from Team Finland.
It's more than 0.
That's true. At the same time, they came to him.
Yeah, that is
They came to him.
Not really a hero you go aggressive with.
Yeah, that's what the rest of Team Finland is all about. And you got Trixie hovering around that mid lane. He doesn't know he's being watched, however, because that observer ward's up on top of the hill. Now as daytime, he'll be a little bit more cautious about it because the field of vision is going to be increased. Well, that puck. What's he searching for? Is this a play in towards the mid? Or is he just trying to keep the lanes in check so Medusa can continue to farm up the dire jungle? And now actually, because you've got the Blink Dagger, it might be a better option to go for that mana style as opposed to going directly into the Skadi. Would you think that on the Medusa?
I'm not sure now. I think Skadi would be really good. I liked your idea of just, the Naked Yasha. Keep that for later, building into a Manta.
Oh, goodbye, Link. Goodbye, Link. Sealed up, which means he's locked at 1252 life points, and that did not take long to get rid of. Which means Team Finland will now take Tier 1 tower in bottom lane. The only thing which Tunisia can try and do is try and force up towards the Tier 2 tower in the mid. But they'll lose Tier 1 and Tier 2 tower in the bottom lane for that. They've got Fortification. Obviously, he's going to regenerate up anyway. But these towers will be forfeit from them. Medusa will probably just TP back and defend it, unless they are looking for a team fight as well. Because you got a 32-second window with Morphling down. He will not want to buy back for this. Actually, there's your TP back. It's Skywrath Mage.
But then after this, they go straight into Roshan. They've got the Wraith King with that lifesteal aura. There's very little difficulty taking that guy down.
It was the full Manta. It was the full Manta for Medusa.
Now double, triple TP into mid for the Viper.
Yeah, good commitment. And Jirax tries to stay. He's a little bit too long there, but at the same time, they bring 4 heroes at the end of the day to make sure that Viper goes down. So they still keep Tunisia at 4 heroes, which means Roshan's still a possibility for him. Skywrath Mage could be a little bit... Oh, no, 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 no. 43 life points over on Jirax. It's a little bit too close to comfort for that Skywrath Mage. And now Morphling. Okay, Link, he's being very aggressive for someone who doesn't have a replicate up. Mana style or not. As that push will continue to come in from the Medusa. And Clockwork, nice hook shot in. The shield's going to try and protect him. Wraith King, there goes Hellfire Blast, the Morphling. He pulls the Lich ulti away, and the ultimate from Medusa just slows down Link, the center ulti to escape. The Lich ulti, okay, stop bouncing around with them. That Wraith King's very low on life. They don't have enough damage to pick him off. And do they try and turn? Hellfire Blast, orb nicely. Silence over on 2. Clockwork can't put the cogs down. 4 staffs away, but the attack still follows him in. And Trixie deep in with a Hoofstorm. Catches out 2 Mystic Flare Flash and a 14 life points. 1 attack on him. Finally, Trixie will finish the job, but they got the seal over on the Viper. There's a 1 for 3 at the moment. And Link in the tree lines. Orb attacks in. Trixie takes the double kill, blinking in to kill secure it. And they are diving a little bit deeper for the Ogre, but they came here for the Tier 1 tower, and they will take it, and potentially significant damage to the Tier 2 if not taking it as well.
I like that decision from the Wraith King, using his last bit of mana for the Red Fire Blast rather than having the ultimate and letting himself die, because he didn't need the ultimate there. It's better that he dies and gets that extra stun off, and then he has his ultimate for the next team fight where he can slow down the enemy with the rest of the combination of spells from Team Finland.
Did he actually have his level 11 before? Like, did he get his level 11 during that team fight, I would assume? Depending on the timing of it, he might have actually still had a level 1 ultimate. It's like, crap, 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 cast my ability.
I don't know. I'm pretty sure he had level 2 ultimate, because there's no way he got 1300 experience just himself in that team fight.
Yeah, yeah, you're right. Because then I wouldn't have had a problem with it. It's still 160-second cooldown. There's no problem with that at all. Either way, save your ultimate. Hook shot, Clockwork, finds a target. It's going to be the puck. And then phase shift, orb away, and...
Oh dear.
Okay, that's not where you want to...
Double oh dear.
He's still studying the puck who jumped himself up there.
And then?
The Dream calls a babble. He'll silence and hold him. He orbs away so he gets the vision. Jaunts out. But in 4 seconds' time, the Clockwork will 4 staff down, take the DD rune, and it'll be all good to go, unless he... Oh, no! Okay, he's fine. He's fine. I honestly thought he was going to be pushed up onto this the cliff, and then it would have been the double fail. Wraith King now with his fresh blink is also searching for some kind of remnants of the Clockwork, but he is definitely gone. Rune and all with him. Medusa now is 18k net worth. Mana style, 3.5k gold, and increasing rapidly. She's basically like, it's almost 300 CS, and we're not even 30 minutes in.
Yeah, she's basically 3 items ahead of the Morphling right now.
Yeah. Wait, that means Morphling's got nothing.
Well, I'm counting the 3,000 odd gold as an item, which he just bought Eagle Song, I'm guessing? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. There's an ultimate orb as well coming in for Hopper, so you were right about the Scythe of Ice for him. He's still another couple hundred gold away from it. But they'll try and find that opening. While Trixie, where's his move? He's hoping to find somebody out of position, but while this Observer Ward is now freshly up on top of the cliffside, they won't find anyone. But they have their Observer Ward deeper behind the Tier 2 tower. So they know if the Radiant want to defend this Tier 2. They Sentry Wards they can see up on top of the cliff. Jirax coming a little bit too close towards the tower for a moment. Is he in range to de-ward it? Yeah, he is. Missing up the hill, and then in comes Medusa and will finish the job. But they're committing heavily, but they don't have everybody. The puck is not here. He's going and picking up the Scythe of Ice right now with the Courier, while Medusa is taking that wonderful Ancients, which they had before.
Stacked it for him.
Yeah, that was what I was looking at. It's like, you can't get anything with this. Like, that's the problem with it. You could not pick up anything with this. I'm really liking this from Trixie too. This Observer Orb, like, that's the vision of him right now. They can see blood and they can jump him. Just blink, Hawk Stomp, Mystic Flare, Hellfire Blast, and Double Edge. The Ogre, no matter how many life points he's got, was never going to survive that. Not at all.
Medusa going to Stone Gaze and Blink in possibly here?
Potentially, but they have to worry a little bit about bottom lane. Link's already like forcing the issue pretty heavily, and Stone Gazing just to kill off the Clockwork isn't really as worth it, especially when you got such great jump heroes like what Team Finland have. And on bottom lane, you've now got, in fact, the puck on the defense duty. Morphling waveforms in, went for the adaptive strike. The Viper is also here, so he has to hex over on Link. Does he have another jump away? Phase shift, orb out, let the Dream Call go, which means Link is stuck here for the moment. He doesn't have himself a replica. Waveforms up towards the high ground. Trixie can't reach him. We'll get the Hoof Stomp up. Puck's coming back in again. Blinks up. He'll get the silence and then can orb himself back down again before Link can do anything against him. And Trixie, okay, he can't reach him. And now, okay, that's one way to do it. Force staff down the Medusa. She sits on the high ground after taking the tier 2 tower. Okay, this is her way of going disco, disco. It's the Medusa rave party. And then blinks herself down to safety. That's her full butterfly. That's a 31-minute butterfly on a Medusa. God, she's fat.
503. And she's still got 1,200 gold to spare.
It's... The net worth is out of control. 751 experience per minute, 682 on the gold per minute. She has earned in total almost 22,000 gold, which, if you put both Clockwork and Viper together, still exceeds the amount of gold they have earned. And then she gets herself a trip stack. As lizards, golems, as well as dragons. Now to 2,000 gold. Start building your Skadi now. We're at that point. We're literally at that point for the Medusa.
Yeah, she's only 3,000 gold behind the Morphling and Viper put together.
Yep, that's the danger. That's the danger right now. What happens when you give Medusa space and you weren't aggressive enough with your lineup. But you also knew you were going to do that, and that's the reason why Medusa was the 5th pick, because the Lich was already selected. So they knew they'd actually have space for this. Rocket's going to scout out the fact that Team Finland are going for Roshan. He's at 1/4 of his life points right now, and he'll drop a lot further than that. In fact, he'll be dead before Clockwork can reach him. That's the hookshot range right there. Actually can get all the way in. Rocket scouts out, hookshot's in. Medusa, got to let that ulti go, or they can just seal up the Clockwork. There'll be the Mystic Flare, flashes in real trouble. Link trying to get himself away to safety, but the Dream Call is going to hold him in position. Wraith King still hasn't even lost his life yet. Now he will. And that'll slow down the Viper, who really can't move anywhere from this. And then, well, Medusa right behind him. In front, they're doing the split shot, so he's damaging down both Blood as well as this Viper. Picks up the Viper, Blink Dagger in 4 seconds time from now, and they're both jumping down. Blood trying to juke them out by going east as opposed to the normal, which was west back to the tier 2 tower, but it will be unsuccessful. Link, the only one to get back out to safety. The Finland with the Aegis the Immortal, well, it burnt, did it? Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they burnt that one on the Medusa.
Roshan's still alive.
Oh, Roshan's still alive? They never finished the job?
They never killed him.
It's like, oh my lord, didn't they? Like, they had to have burned it because the slot's still there for the Medusa, but I thought they finished it.
They completely obliterated him.
Like, and Medusa was just like, oh, I better come out there and fight before, okay. With a fresh Aegis the Immortal and all that money over on the Medusa, they can just go high ground. There really is nothing to stop them. The Morphling is in no position to stop them.
Yeah, regen their mana, go back up top lane maybe.
I don't know what they're supposed to do. I really don't. I'm looking at this going like, in another 1,500 gold, you got a full Skadi on Medusa.
And now Halberd on the Centaur. That's so painful. No BKBs on Viper or Morphling.
So Viper can't attack. You would just let the Morphling like die the damage from the Medusa. Or you'd nuke him down. But then again, they've been nuking down the other heroes like Clockwork as well as like Ogre. Making sure they can't stun, they can't control with their cogs and everything else they have. And we actually get a full BTs purchased, as well as the extra ultimate orb for the Medusa. So she'll get rid of her face boots. Which should also flag to the fact that Trixie's the man walking around with that Aegis.
I just realized that as
well. They give it to the suicidal man.
He hasn't been too suicidal this game though. 7-2. He's not got himself into any sticky situations.
He also got himself really tanky. And it's hard to suicide when you're walking around with 2.2k life points as well as the 12 armor.
Helmet and hood.
Yeah, and evasion and resistance. So the magical damage of Tunisia just doesn't really do much. And they're stacking Ancients again. They're going to easily push in this top lane. Just keep the pressure on. I bet you Medusa's kind of wishing she already had that Skadi. Because then those illusions don't get themselves away. How's Hopper's going? He's got 4.2k now over on the puck. And he buys a straight BKB of his own. So you got immunity for the puck. You got initiation for the Wraith King and also the aura from the Vladimirs, plus the Vampiric aura he's giving over, but it's just the armor buff up which he's looking for from the Vlads.
You're looking at a massive lead now for Team Finland.
Do I really want to bring that up?
I'm not sure you do. It's too late. You've already clicked it.
Yep. 25,000 the net worth, 32,000 in the experience. Like, if Tunisia are able to come out on top of this...
Double damage Medusa.
Oh, come on, really? Really? We're racking over 430 damage.
Yep.
That's not nice. And now Viper, well, he throws the ulti on Wraith King. This at least keeps the Blink Dagger on cooldown, so he can't jump in. But the aggressive posturing, he just moves so far forward. A fresh Skadi being purchased for the Morphling. This sacrifices his buyback. There's only one hero, in fact, on this map right now who has buyback, and that's the Medusa. Which means if she buys back, you basically got 2 Medusas during this fight. That's why she doesn't need the Aegis, the Immortal. Just buy back into it. The Lich Johnny will go, but a perfect hoof stomp. The Lich will go down to Flash, to Trixie. He goes in deeper for Blood, and he won't be able to pick it up because the Clockwork hook shot in, but he couldn't keep the control going. The Viper will die in the meantime, and it's just continuous split damage coming the way from the Medusa. A little bit of trouble for the puck. He'll phase shift to try and get himself away in time from this, and he does with a Blink Dagger away. Jirax will pick up the gem. Now Morphling waves him. The Hoof Stomp off target. They're still going to finish up this melee racks. They've taken most of it. As Wraith King lets his reincarnation trigger out now. And they just back up. There's still that Aegis the Immortal over on Trixie. And if Medusa's in enough of a mood, she could just turn around and blink into the fight. But there's no reason to. They can just move to a different lane now. How long have they got left on that Aegis? Okay, they've only got 1 minute and 20 seconds left on the Aegis the Immortal. They should push bottom lane right now.
She needs more GPM. 770 right now.
Full Skadi on Courier. Full Skadi. That's 38 minutes Skadi now onto the Medusa. So we actually have practically a 5-slotted Medusa. 38 minutes in at level 24. It is 770 gold per minute and 783 experience a minute.
Time to sell Blink. Buy Rapier.
It's not what you buy in this situation.
Why?
Yeah, you could because they can't kill you, but if you lost that and you gave it to the Morphling, you'd finally give him the damage he's been begging for.
To kill the Skywrath. That's still the only target he could possibly take down. The puck has been doing a great job of using phase shift to be able to blink out in sticky situations. Centaur is still really tanky. Wraith King has reincarnation.
You know the funny thing is, you could actually subscribe to the Book of Honey in this one, which I don't know if Trixie really wants to do. It's not Trixie playing the Medusa, but he might be up against it, and I know Honey likes to stack butterflies. He says it's actually one of the greatest ways you can do it on agility heroes in the later portion of the game.
Yeah, up against Viper Morphling, it wouldn't be too bad. Morphling finds a lot of his damage comes from the right-click attacks after sort of 25 minutes, especially when he doesn't go for the E-Blade build.
The Aegis Immortal is now gone from Trixie, so he doesn't have that extra life points anymore. And they'll have to wait 4.5 minutes until Roshan's up. So you can count that one at the 39. But it's not going to stop Team Finland.
No.
They just send the Medusa to the front lines. There's 2.6k life points and 25 armor. And, well, they might break the Lincolns, but Link gets completely snapped! They move so quickly in there. The Lich Johnny will go to work, but look at the position from the Medusa. The Split Shot's doing all the work, plus that Stone Gaze. They just can't walk away. The Clockwork Blade Mail doesn't even phase the Medusa. She's down at 1/3 of her mana. Trixie, Hoofstomp's down. He's a little bit too deep there, and he will go down to the Morphling. So giving him a free bone. But this will be the tier 3 tower in the top lane dying, and they cannot go near that Medusa. If they do, they die, and now they are in fact dying. It is beyond godlike for the Medusa. The top racks is forfeit, the mid racks is forfeit. The Morphling will end a monster kill streak of the puck. But I think at this point they realize the Medusa is god. Like, there is
1v1, man fight, do it.
You can give it a shot if he heals up again, and if he gets Ogre Magi with like mass amounts of multicast. The Medusa just blinks itself away. She's got 6k gold. You could actually get your rapier now. You could get your rapier.
Sell Blink by rapier.
What is it going to be? Blink, sold.
7,100 gold?
7k. 7k.
Well, why would you sell Blink if you're not going to buy something right there and then?
You were going to buy something. She doesn't need heart. There's very little reason to actually buy, what, Bloodstone? What else would you even consider on a Medusa? You could just go damage and just go like a Monkey King bar.
True.
That'll be a little bit safer. And something's... Okay, the Courier's moving, but I don't think that's for her.
Rapier, Hex. What's on the Courier? Is it an ultimate orb? Oh, she's going
crits. What is this Daedalus business? This isn't manly.
And now Hopper's buys his Yules.
Well, never too late to pick up a Yule Scepter over on a puck. He's still short of it though. Like, oh no, because he put the Void Stone on the Courier. You're right. So he's actually got his full Yule Scepter up and running. Yeah. Okay, so Team Finland, they're going through the motions now. It's the bottom lane push. Put the Medusa at the front lines and win. It is literally their recipe for success right now. And the Daedalus, I think it was a little bit of a mistake as well from Team Finland. They should have flown out the recipe over on the Courier because he had 7k gold. It's not so he was waiting for anything.
Just buy his own Courier.
That would be nice. Looks like someone else could actually like set it up.
Yeah.
So okay, this is the last stand right now for Tunisia. They put down the Observer Ward in the bottom lane so at least can see what's going on. Finland won't force anything too hard. They'll only look for like a small opening. But then again, Link being even that close, he's not the opening they want. Like if it's the Ogre Magi they prefer to have. Or even the Viper, that'll work. Okay, silence on the Morphling. BKB from the puck. Dream Call, gonna catch out 3 heroes. The Clockwork will actually take the stun already. He's got Hookshot when he's moving up that far. Will isolate Trixie, but the Medusa's just in too deep. She is literally God right now. Going after Morphling. There will be the stun. They won't dive in any deeper. They're coming back over for the Clockwork, who's now trying to run away from the orb, but unfortunately for him, he will die next to the fountain. And there is just no other way to survive. Viper outside, this is GG. Game number 1 will go the way of Team Finland, taking roughly 43 minutes. And an insanely farmed Medusa at 852 gold per minute. That is filthy rich. Absolutely rich. Filthy. So dirty. so dirty.
Really well drafted from Team Finland. They played to their strengths and had really aggressive heroes and then let the Medusa farm. They controlled the tempo from the game from like minute 1. Trixie finding lots of experience on that bot lane, hiding in the trees, never really found himself in trouble. But then we had a really greedy strat from Team Tunisia. You know, they went Midas on the Morphling. They needed Viper to start picking up speed and never got into the groove.
Yeah. And they're going to have to find that kind of groove. They'll have themselves a break. We'll be back here for game number 2 of our second quarterfinal on the main stage today. Coming to you from Azerbaijan, Baku for the IeSF LAN final.